that's enough.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, good evening, everyone. I have 6 o'clock. I'm filling in for Mayor March tonight. I will call this meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, if you would call the roll.
All right. Trustee Marevka?
Here.
Trustee Jones?
Here.
Trustee Sluice?
Here.
Trustee Bowden?
Here.
Trustee Hand?
Here.
Trustee Sturba?
Here. All right. In tonight's consent agenda, we have 6 items. If there are any questions, we can look at them, pull them out of the consent agenda, or we could motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Do you want to read each item? Is that necessary?
Well, you can, and if everybody's got them, that'll be okay too. Just so they know, just so the board members know, if you want anything removed from the consent agenda, you can have it, just say it and have it removed.
The only thing I noticed, I know I wasn't here at the last meeting, but on the bottom of page 2, it just says motion by Marevka, seconded by Ham to accept the design engineering services. On page 2.
Page 2?
Yeah.
Oh, this page.
It's like the second paragraph from the bottom.
Second.
Yeah.
That should be page 3.
Oh, it says 2 right here, so maybe it's page 3.
Oh,
Right here.
right here.
Okay. So my name needs to be taken off of there. I did not, because I wasn't here.
I will check that. Thank you for letting me know.
You're welcome. And that's all I have for that.
Thank
Okay.
you. You're welcome.
Anything else? I'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Jones. Second by Trustee Sluice.
Roll call vote. Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Sluice?
Yes.
Trustee Marevka?
Present.
Okay. Trustee Hand?
Yes.
And Trustee Bowden?
Yes.
And Trustee Sturba?
Yes.
All right. Moving down the agenda here, we have public comment and or questions. And Aqua's not here tonight, but if there are any specific questions, we can make arrangements to call, right?
Yeah, I can
Okay.
get them, get the questions to her and bring the answer back.
Okay.
She just sent a few notes that you maybe had already done last time, but flushing is done completely. The issue that was brought up last meeting about the area in front of fire pit is being scheduled for repair this week.
I think that's been done.
Done.
Okay. That was quick.
Okay. Any other public comment or questions?
Yes.
ma'am.
My name is Angela Grskoviak. We live in the Gull Landings neighborhood on Merganser Lane, 701 Merganser Lane. And I'm pretty much here kind of questioning what is going on with the property directly behind our residence, because we back right up to the field, and the actual address is 31260 Ratchie Road. It was, from what I understand, previously Cliff and Colleen Micas's property. There's been a lot of new activity in the field behind us. The surveyors have been back there surveying stuff, and I've had the privilege of talking to both surveyors on 2 different days. And I was advised that that property has changed hands, and that the new owners are looking to rezone the property, either commercial or residential, possibly industrial as well. And I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I did make a phone call to the Will County Assessor, Supervisor of Assessment's office, as well as I've attended last week's Village Township Board meeting, and no one has any information to me, for me, you know, with with what has been going on back there. I do know that it's township property and it's not within village limits and it's currently zoned to ag, so I'm just kind of curious as to what any of you have any idea, because I love looking at my field. I've lived here for 10 years. I'm nervous. I don't want to see businesses go right up in my backyard, or possibly not residences, but does anyone have any idea on what's going on there?
That's my wife's aunt and uncle. They've retired to Florida.
Okay. Do we know who's living there at all?
Yes, we
Have
do.
you seen, you've moved?
I have not.
Okay, because I have also seen the Lark property that you currently live on, because I've seen activity on, I happen to travel that road all
Sure.
the time. And your previous residence of 924 is no longer resided in by you guys. It's sold as of 7/23/21, and that's public knowledge on Zillow.
That's correct.
And you and your wife kind of posted publicly, or your wife did on Facebook, that you guys have been homeless for 3 days. So I'm just kind of curious as to what's going on, and if you are currently still living in village limits, because I think that might be a conflict at this point with the position in which you're sitting right now.
I'm actually residing in Gull Landings myself at my father's house.
Okay.
And that's all I can really share at this point.
Do we know what's going on with the property then, since it was your aunt and uncle's house? Do you have any idea? Should I be worried that I'm gonna have businesses in my backyard?
I don't own it, so I can't say.
Okay, so there's no laws, you know what, I'll address that one later. That's about all I have at this point in time.
Anything else? Okay. Moving on with staff and committee reports. Christmas in the Village. Mike, can you comment on that?
Yeah, we had our last meeting last Thursday, July 22nd. Things are going pretty smooth. With the groundwork that's been laid with the previous 3 Christmas in the Villages, we've got a good outline to follow. Always trying to tweak it a little bit. December 11th will be the date. It's the second Saturday in December, and that's when it should always be, the second Saturday in December. Steve Stein's working with the school. The PTO's committed to the pancake breakfast, which is always a big hit. The craft show is still up in the air. They don't know whether they're going to pursue that or not yet. We're working on the events at the downtown. One event that we've eliminated was the ice sculpture. It was really expensive and didn't seem to have a big following, so that's one thing that's been eliminated. We're adding at least one more venue. We haven't got it firmed up yet, but and it's supposed to be a big hit, I've heard. The parade will be like usual, same parade route, starting over with the junior high, down to West Street, through town. Santa and Mrs. Claus will be there, as usual. There's a fish fry after the parade, or actually, I think the fish fry starts at 4, but the Legion's having that. Julie and Jamie are working on getting donations and sponsors. So we've always had real generous givings before towards the event, and hopefully we'll have the same again this year. Let's see, we got the house decorating contest again, and I've contacted the American Legion Auxiliary, and the women are gonna be the judges this year. Our next meeting's gonna be in September, and by then we should be able to firm up all the details, and
Okay.
I can report to you what's gonna go on. Any questions?
Sounds great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Administrator report. Ann?
You got my written report in the packet, so I'll just go over a few highlights. The village had what we just termed a joint taxing body meeting, where we just got together all the taxing bodies for just some open intergovernmental communication about projects or things we might be working on, and then collaboration opportunities that we can identify And so that was a really successful meeting starting here at Village Hall, and then we've decided to do it quarterly and then just rotate amongst the different taxing bodies to meet. So the next meeting for that will be at the fire station on September 30th. Building permits issued remains steady. Single-family permits year-to-date issued have been 10, where last year was 22, so I think 2020 was kind of a boom year in Peatone, relatively speaking, for housing starts. Just to give you an update on the Rebuild Illinois Public Infrastructure Grant, and that's the grant we applied to DCO for $3.2 million for improvements around the I-57 interchange. We submitted that a year ago in May, and we still haven't heard anything. So checking in with them, they've received 350 applications, and they just started the review process this June of 2021. So we probably won't hear whether we are gonna be awarded that until like fall of 2021. Hopefully sooner, but that's what they said at this point.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay. Troy, how about the public, no, not Troy, Bob, public works.
Few things to report. As you all know, the West Street project has started. It is going well. No hiccups so far. They plan to mill the road next week, just to let the concrete that they did pour cure. Wilson and North Street project should start next week, weather permitting. Gutters on the Village Hall will be done tomorrow. That's another thing in my report. Curb spray, the weed spray along curves is 95% complete. We'll hit some other areas that seem to be problem areas with the weed spray. I want to ask the residents, I know I've come up here before, talked about it. Please don't blow grass in the street. If you mow your grass, make the first pass, blow it towards your yard, just so it doesn't cause us issues in a rain event. I also want to thank Black Diamond for the donation of steel. Me and my department are going to be working on a Christmas tree stand for the event. So I wanted to thank them. So that's all I have.
Awesome. Any questions for Bob?
Did anybody report one of those LED lights out on kind of the corner of 2nd and North Street? It sparks and flashes constantly.
I was out of town last week, Mike, so I have no idea what all that is. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Next, we have the treasurer's report. Marcy?
Everyone received a copy of it when they came in today in front of their nameplate. Under general fund, I'll just go through a few highlights here. Under the general fund, you'll notice that revenues were exceeded expenditures, which always makes for a happy treasurer. Under MFT, we received $21,000 in revenues, $13,500 of that was in just regular MFT funds. The other $7,500 was reimbursement back for some of the grants that we have. I believe some of it was Corning Engineering Construction money back, and possibly West Street Design Engineering back too. Under capital improvement, you'll see we brought in $12,595. That was for 5 house permits that month. The expenditure of $27,606 was for the balance of the 2nd Street project payment to the contractor, and then also some preliminary engineering work for the Allborn sewer project. Jumping down to the Business Development District Fund, you'll see the revenue has gone up slightly there this month to $21,325. We typically average around $18,000, so that was a nice little increase this month. And then expenditures, you'll notice that's where the purchase of Second Street was allocated for in the budget, so that's what that is for. So, any other questions, concerns? We have received also, just to note, we have received, which we anticipate, just about 50% of the property tax revenue at this point also. So we'll probably receive the remainder of that around September-ish.
Okay, I have one question.
Uh-huh.
On the BDD expenditure, is that total amount specifically Second Street?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so that's all above the contract price.
That includes the back taxes you had to pay.
Got it, all right. Thank you. Any other questions?
Nope.
All right. We have the police chief report.
After my day in computer world messes because the building got hit by lightning, I am geeked out getting everything back running, so I have nothing really to report.
Okay.
But we're back running.
We're back running.
This building here, chief.
The building, it shook.
Okay. Wow. Okay. And finally, Troy with our engineers report.
Yeah, Bob mentioned the MFT resurfacing project. I know he said they're planning on starting it next week. That kind of depends if IDOT approves the contracts in time too. So hopefully they will, and then they got to get it scheduled. So hopefully next week, but it could be pushed back depending on IDOT approving the books. And then I think the mayor wanted me to go over some of the options for the Alborn storm sewer project that we worked out. Once we got our survey, got more information from utility companies, and looked at the drainage more, our estimated costs are coming in a lot higher than we originally thought for the project. So we came up with some options. The main flooding area to address was on the east side of the Alborn, where it bends kind of near across from the parking lot. So if we do that side for like a 10-year storm event, we're looking at a construction cost of approximately $230,000. But then if you want to go up to a 100-year storm event, it's not that much more. You know, it would be more like $249,000. So these are ballpark estimates. And the mayor wanted to talk about it just because it's a lot more than we budgeted. The sewers had to be bigger, a lot more inlets, and it has to go down the middle of the road because there's not enough room other places. So that's why it's coming in a lot higher. So I know it probably might warrant some more discussion, but just wanted to let the board know that's what we'd be looking at.
Okay.
Where do you gotta take that water to?
There's a large, I think 36-inch storm sewer on South Street that runs east-west, so it would connect to there. That's what makes the cost, because you gotta get it to that point, you know, you gotta bring it up.
Okay. Any other questions for Troy? Okay, thank you, Troy. Moving on down the agenda here, the mayor did prepare some comments. These are 7 items he wanted me to bring up here. Please sign up for the blood drive sponsored by the American Legion on August 9th. The blood drive is 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can sign up at redcrossblood.org. Second, enjoy the Peatone Car Club show this Saturday, July 31st in the historic downtown Peatone district. Third, we've signed a contract with Webfoot Design to update our website. The work is scheduled to begin in October. Fourth, the American Rescue Plan funds have been released from the state. Peatone is receiving $550,000, half this year, half next year. Still figuring out how we can use these funds. According to the Treasury Department worksheet, Peatone did not have the revenue loss last year, so the funds cannot be applied for that reason. Probably still looking to use funds for storm water projects, maybe something that Troy is speaking of. He says, thank you to the board members who have turned in their goals and vision survey. If you've not done so, please fill out the survey, I think online with the Survey Monkey or the paper one. The mayor is sponsoring a staff appreciation lunch for all village employees on Thursday, August 5th. And finally, Eloise Clausing passed away. She served as the village clerk from 1977 to 1989, and also the village treasurer prior to that, 1970 to 1977. So that was Donna Warner's mother, I believe. Yep. So we wanted to bring that up. So that concludes the mayor's comments. There are no old business on the agenda, so we'll move into new business. There is a new liquor code in the agenda. Ordinance 2121. Any discussion for that tonight?
Essentially, the changes from the ALC committee are, we're gonna allow gaming in the packaged liquor stores, gas stations, things like that.
Correct.
There's an automatic escalator for the liquor licenses each year, so we don't have to deal with that every year. And we did lower the solo gaming fees to a different amount, just, but there's still only one gaming operation allowed for the town, so those are the major changes that we did. Oh, and we synced up with the state on ages for serving versus bartending, so now we match the state. Yeah. Yep. Those are the major changes.
I'll look for a motion to approve the ordinance amending certain provisions of the Peatone Village Code relative to alcohol, liquor, and licenses.
I'll motion it.
I'll second it.
Motion by Shelley, or Trustee Marevka, and second by Trustee Bowden.
Okay, roll call vote. Trustee Marevka?
Yes.
Trustee Bowden?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Sluse?
Yes.
Trustee Ham?
Yes.
And Trustee Sturba?
Yes.
Okay, motion carried.
Next in the agenda, there's a resolution, would be ordinance,
It's gonna be an ordinance, we'll
20
change that to ordinance
Okay.
as opposed to resolution.
got it. So the ordinance would be number 21-22. An ordinance approving and accepting a plan of dedication for certain sections of 80th Avenue. Any discussion on that? Everyone saw the map in their packet? If
Yeah,
not,
I'm sorry,
I was just gonna ask, does that mean it's resolved?
well,
No, this is a piece, this is an exhibit, would be an exhibit in the agreement, so we're getting all of our pieces in a row.
yeah, we're trying to get it all together so that if it does finalize itself, we can go forward right away with the execution of the plat. The plat of dedication is essentially a dedication of 30 feet to the west of 88th Avenue from Wilmington Peatone Road north about 1,700 feet, more or less. And the purpose of that land, the dedication, is to improve 88th Street.
I'll motion it.
Second.
motion by Trustee Bowden, second by Trustee Sluse.
Okay, roll call vote. Trustee Bowden?
Yes.
Trustee Sluse?
Yes.
Trustee Marevka?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Ham?
Yes.
And Trustee Sturba?
Yeah.
Okay, motion carried.
Okay. The next topic was an executive session. We're going to be canceling that tonight. Had to do with our employee Joe, the code enforcer. He's going to be leaving here, taking another position. So, unfortunately, that part of the meeting's unnecessary. I guess moving on down, any questions of the press?
I only have one question.
Yep.
The Christmas in the Village, doesn't the village set aside a budgetary amount for the Christmas in the Village?
We don't?
Oh, I thought I saw before that there was a set aside
It's
amount
a
for
s-
$10,000 for
That's
Christmas
not,
in the village.
we are able to run their expenses through the village,
Okay,
but it's not money that we contribute, they go through our sponsors, it's
okay,
never been a village, I mean, it's a village-run event, but it's
Yes.
not using village tax dollar
Okay.
monies. We do, the village does give a contribution
okay.
for their sponsorship into it, but
Okay.
that's just
What's the village's contribution, Rachel?
$1,000.
Okay. Thank you.
I have one. What's the hours of the car show again?
We're starting registration at 8 a.m.
Okay,
We should be done by 4,
by 4. Great.
ideally. We run it till 6, just in case we run late, depending on how many cars we have.
Okay,
Last year, we had 215, we're expecting more this year.
great. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. Any further correspondence, communications, or petitions?
I just maybe would like to add that the village is gonna be present at the car show with like an informational booth if anybody has any questions on code or anything else. We'll be there probably from about 11 to 2.
Great.
Thanks for letting us do that.
Okay, I'll take a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion. Second.
Motion by trustee Sluse, second by trustee Moore.
Okay, roll call vote. Trustee Sluse?
Yes.
Trustee Maravka?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Hand?
Yes.
Trustee Bowden?
Yes.
And Trustee Sturba?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you, Earl.
I'm so sorry.
No, I was reading through it and I was like, alright, it says I'm absent on there,
Have you
but.
heard anything more from,
I take
Bill or
minutes from the
Susan?
last meeting
No.
and then. I'm so sorry. That's okay. I'll watch out.
No, that's okay, I just didn't want coming down the road and having somebody like Joya or something and be like, oh, so she really was there. She then asking me all these questions about it, going, I don't know.
Stinks.
Yeah.